And now downtown businessman Ken Brown is going to talk about the Tea Party, one of my favorite topics. Ken, recently you were talking to a friend, and this friend of yours opens up the conversation with, knowing that you're a Tea Party member apparently, opens the conversation, why are the Tea Party people racist?
I know, George. If you can consider somebody that starts a conversation, a friend who says, so why are you and all your friends a bunch of racists? It's like asking, one group of people, so how come all you Democrats are a bunch of ex-murderers? And since none of those things is really true, I want to take an opportunity to explain to my friend, we're going to call Jake, because I don't really want to actually out this particular individual, who has strong links to the NAACP locally. Interesting, the NAACP is probably the second most racist group and organization in the entire country after the KKK. The KKK is pretty much on the wane.
Aryan Nations is up there too.
Yeah, there's all 7 of those people perhaps. But basically the NAACP is the biggest national organization of people that are racist overall because they primarily focused on those individuals.
Yeah, sure.
Interestingly, the NAACP was started by conservative white Republicans to help blacks and other minorities get ahead. So anyway, I wanted to talk about this particular individual, Jake. You know where my business is, you know where I live, and you know for at least 5 years that I've been involved in the Tea Party. At any time in the last 5 years, you could have stopped by my store without an appointment and we could have had a discussion about what exactly the Tea Party is. But instead, you used your role as a member of the local version of the NAACP to jump on the same talking points that Julian Bond, the leader of your group, said about the American Tea Party. As a matter of fact, I quote him, "Here are a group of people who are admittedly racist." Now, I don't know who in leadership or non-leadership in the entire Tea Party across the country ever admitted publicly to you, Julian Bond, or to anybody else that we are racist in any way. Matter of fact, part of our discussion we had the other day while I was trying to very politely defend myself for not being a racist, and I had to go through 20 minutes of explanation of all the things that I did to prove before I could even make a single point about what the Tea Party is, that I am not, in fact, a racist, which I found most amusing, George. I started out by saying, the first person I ever hired that I was in charge of hiring, both the first 2 people were black women. I didn't hire them because they were black or because they were women. I hired them because they were both qualified to do the job against other candidates that I had. I didn't look at race. That wasn't an issue until after the fact. Like, oh, hey, that was kind of cool. I was born in Detroit, one of the blackest cities in America, one of the most minority dominated cities in the entire country. I bought my first house in Pontiac, Michigan, another primarily minority downtown urban kind of environment. I've lived in the downtown urban environment here at Racine for almost 20 years. I have been involved with school functions, with parks and recreation, with having my kids play with all sorts of minorities in our community. So when it comes right down to it, I don't think I'm really all that atypical of many of the people that are involved in the Tea Party. But what is the Tea Party really, George? It comes down to this. We are taxed enough already. We are not white enough already, black enough already, colored person enough already. We are Tea Party, taxed enough already. And that is what we are.
That's right. And the thing I want to point out to that particular description is that it's an idea.
Yes.
So Tea Party has not got this leader, Sarah Palin, or whoever these other things. The opposition to the idea of the Tea Party, which is basically what it is. Mm-hmm. When I hear that label of being racist, I don't look at that as an actual. I mean, nobody's seen any racism in the Tea Party. They can't find incidents of it. It's only done as a label to attack the idea of this constitutional type of government, a limited government that balances its budget, which is the main thing. And beyond that, that's the simplicity of what the Tea Party stands for. That's the idea of it. And all this other stuff is just, it's like calling the Republicans, what are they, the war on women?
Right.
Women. All that is, that's a political acronym, political tactic, a political move to weaken that group or those people that believe like that to claim that they're all racist.
The same opposition group over the years has said, oh, the Republicans are going to take away your Social Security. The Republicans are going to take away the SNAP card. They're going to stop, school lunches. and they use every kind of little tactic. This is the one that they think works the best with the Tea Party because so many people don't know what it is.
Yeah.
And by the way, the Tea Party doesn't have a central office. We don't actually have a party. We're not on any ballots anywhere in the country.
That's another
We're not even
confusion.
really a party. We're a movement.
Yeah,
we don't have a leader.
The word party confuses it because if they think it's a political party, it's the Alice in Wonderland Tea Party type of thing. You know, where it's the old little kid tea. It's a tea party. And it actually got the idea of a tea party from TEA, which was taxed enough already.
Correct.
And so therefore, it's just kind of a fun little acronym that somebody tried to change it into a political movement.
People say, why does the Tea Party have this position on abortion? Or why do they have this position on guns? And I tell them, the Tea Party doesn't have a position on abortion. We are not pro-life. We are not pro-choice. We are not pro-guns or anti-guns. Now, many of the people that are in the Tea Party or consider themselves Tea Party members may have positions on either side of any one of those other issues. The primary reason that we created the Tea Party, right here in our community, we had one of the biggest turnout, biggest nationwide events that happened when we first started it. And we actually had one right downtown. Racine, by the way, is one of the most diverse cities in the entire state of Wisconsin. We held a Tea Party right down on the lakefront, within walking distance of the vast majority of the minority population in this community, and only 6 people of color showed up. And every one of those people I personally invited, and I said, please come. By the way, Jake, you didn't show up and you were invited.
Well, the Tea Party movement, I think, is invigorating, and just from the standpoint, just from this one standpoint, and that is balancing the budget. If we've seen the change it's made in Wisconsin, and there's more better things to come as a result of Scott Walker getting in there and balancing the budget. And Scott Walker, I do not believe, was a Tea Party candidate at all. Maybe,
yeah, I
maybe
think
not.
he was actually.
Was he actually?
Pretty much.
Okay.
He
That's
showed up
fine.
at most of our events and stuff.
All right. Well, that's good. But I have no problem with that. But the point is that it's a tough battle to fight. You saw what the Republicans had to go through just to keep that budget balanced, even after they got in office and balanced it. So for the Tea Party to get in there and start bringing in these candidates, and you kind of know who they are with the Rand Pauls and the Mike Lees and all these different people, that they're in there balancing the budget.
I got one more point to make.
Okay, go ahead. Go ahead. You still got a minute.
The primary reason that Jake brought this up to me is why did the Tea Party wait to start until after a black president was elected?
Good question.
And I thought that was great. And I said the Tea Party people have been around for a long time. We reacted very quickly to Barack Obama because he passed the largest stimulus package in the history, which was more deficit spending by almost $1 trillion within his first 29 days in office. He chased that down with cash for clunkers, which was a huge disaster, very expensive. He called for the firing of the president of General Motors. I'm sorry, the president of the United States doesn't get to fire the president of General Motors, whether you like it or not. And the final thing was Obamacare. And we have proven to the American people that we were right on that Obamacare issue and every one of these other ones. And the Tea Party welcomes you to check out what we are all about.
Thank you very much, Ken Brown. All right, and we're going to take a break here, and we're going to follow up with Robin Coventry of Preservation Racine.